Good morning, children. How are you all? I hope you all are doing well.
So let's begin with a new lesson today, children, and that is health and hygiene. Now let's see what the book says about health and hygiene. Good health is essential for the purposeful existence. That means if we want to exist without any problems, without any worries, then we require good health. Being healthy means being free of diseases, both physically and mentally. Now, free of diseases over here means, children, that physically we should not have any kind of a problem in our body. All our organs should be working, functioning properly. Even we should not have any kind of worries or tension in our mind. Then only we can be physically and mentally healthy. At times, health is adversely affected. Now, at times it happens that we are badly affected due to the physiological malfunctioning. That means due to the organs of our body that are not functioning properly. Due to some psychological reasons, that means we have some kind of a tension in our mind. We are worried, we are tensed about certain conditions in our home or maybe around us or maybe related to school, anything. Or the disease causing organism or some germs have come inside our body. So these three can be any of the reasons, children, that can make us fall sick. Our body organs are not functioning properly. We have some kind of a tension or worries in our mind, or some disease causing germs have come in our body. The word disease signifies a departure from the normal state of health. Signifies means it tells or it identifies. The word disease tells us that the normal state of a health is being departed or is being affected. The term disease, see how they have broken the word and they have written, it simply means dis-ease. That means we are not comfortable. There is some kind of a discomfort in our body. Thus, disease can be defined as, now the definition is given in your books. It can be defined as the malfunctioning of the body organs due to one reason or the other. Hygiene. Now, hygiene means, children, cleanliness. How clean are we? How clean is the surrounding that we are living in? How clean is our own home? So, hygiene refers to the cleanliness. It refers to the practice of conducive to maintaining health and preventing disease, especially through the cleanliness. That means how clean are we so that we can avoid being unhealthy, we can avoid having some kind of a disease in our body, because there are many diseases, children, that a person can have due to not being very clean. And cleanliness over here refers to everything that is there around us, right from our body to our surrounding. According to WHO, you know WHO is World Health Organization. Hygiene refers to the conditions and the practices that help to maintain health and prevent the spread of diseases. Now, if we are healthy, we will not be a carrier of any kind of a disease. We will not help to spread the disease. Regular washing, that means you need to take a bath regularly. Adequate sleep, we need to have 8 hours of sleep, that's a must. And regularly exercising will help in maintaining personal health. That means if we are careful about these things, children, then we can be a healthy. Now the World Health Organization, WHO, that is a part of United Nations, children, has defined health as not merely the absence of disease in our body, but also it is a state of complete physical, that means physically we don't have any problem, mentally we don't have any kind of a tension or worries, and we have a socially well-being. That means socially also we have a good connection, we have a good relation with the people that are there around us. That can include your neighbors, your friends, your relatives. So we have a social well-being also. So if we don't have any problem physically, mentally and socially, then we are said to be a healthy person. This definition seems a bit idealistic. Now, it is idealistic because it is not, children, it's a condition that is very hard to achieve, because a person who is physically fit, mentally fit, may not be socially very fit, or maybe somebody who is socially very fit is not physically or mentally fit. So, getting all the three conditions, all the three things in a good condition are very, say, idealistic. They are not very realistic, but people try to do this. People try to achieve it in order to be healthy. And that is what we do by various kind of meditations and yoga and all that. This definition seems a bit idealistic, but certainly good health means being free from any kind of a disease. Good health is necessary condition for a purposeful existence in this world. Now, in case we have a very good health, children, we'll be able to do our work with more sincerity. We will be more dedicated because we don't have any kind of worries and tensions. A person can be said to be healthy or having a good health if, now these are certain points given that can identify that you have a good health or not. Firstly, he has no sickness or disease. There is no physical handicap like the crippled limbs. That means you are not handicapped. You have all the body organs that are working properly. All the parts of your body are very healthy and they are in the right shape. He has no mental problems. There are no mental problems also. You don't have any kind of a problem. You don't have any kind of tension for which you are thinking too much or something like that. He has no social tension. Even socially, you are a good person. You have a lot of friends. You have a lot of relatives. Your neighbors love you and they care about you. So socially also, you don't have any tension. He has no psychological tensions also. There are no tensions. He has no anxiety. Anxiety means over here, no worries at all. Do not forget. Now, there's a blue box given over here. Do not forget. Let's see what they want us not to forget. To clean your eyes with fresh water every morning and evening. Now, this is important, children, to clean our eyes with fresh water. We just need to, wash our eyes with fresh water. So that gives a lot of freshness, that even cleans our eyes thoroughly. Because whenever we are bathing, we don't put a soap inside our eyes. We never try to do it. And at times it goes inside our eyes. Then we start having tears in our eyes. It itches a lot. Maybe at times you even feel the eyes become red also. So generally we wash our eyes and clean them with fresh water. You can just splash some water droplets and that will do the needful. To clean your nostrils at time of taking bath, it's necessary that we clean our nostrils also, children, because the inner lining of our nose, it secretes a kind of a mucus. Mucus means a sticky substance, and that spreads on the hair that are present inside our nostrils. So when the nostrils contain this mucus, children, or every time you're breathing, all the germs, the dust that is there in the inhaled air gets stuck to the hair in our nose. So it's necessary that we regularly clean them. To use a hanky or a handkerchief to clean your nose while sneezing or during cold. Now this we all know these days, because even of corona and all, it is always advisable that we we cover our mouth when we are sneezing and all, so that the germs are not getting spread. Even might be we have or we don't have, but whenever we are sneezing, it is always advisable to use a hanky. To clean your tongue and teeth at least twice in a day. Whenever we are brushing our mouth, we should clean our teeth and our tongue thoroughly. To clean your body regularly, that means to take a bath. Even don't try to make any kind of an excuse. It is very cold today. You can take a bath with the lukewarm water. But bathing every day is very, very important, because that is what is known as hygiene. Next we come to, children, types of diseases. Now there are two kinds of diseases, children. One are communicable and one are non-communicable. Now in short, I am telling you first. Communicable means a disease which will spread from one person to another. You can also call it as the infectious disease. There are certain diseases that are quite infectious and that easily spread to the other person who come in contact with you or with the things that are used by you. Another one is children non-communicable. That means they will not pass from one person to another. Now this non-communicable diseases are generally the diseases, children, that we have due to some malfunctioning of some organs in our body. Some organs are not working properly, then we generally come across non-communicable diseases. So these are the two kind of diseases that we are going to see in detail now. Communicable diseases. Now these are the diseases, children, that are caused due to the attack of some microorganisms, some germs, that can be bacteria, virus, fungi, or even at times protozoans. So when these are going to attack our body and they will go inside a body, they will cause the disease that can be said to be an infectious disease. The causal organism of the disease can be transmitted easily from one person to another by means of how will it communicate from one person to the other person, or from a diseased person to a healthy person, children? By means of air, by means of water, by means of food, or the physical contact. Physical contact means you're going and touching them, you're sitting on the same bed where the diseased person is lying or the sick person is lying, or you're using the things that have been used by that person, so that is physical contact. And through the insect. There are certain insects, children, that carry the disease causing germs from the sick person to the healthy person. Those are known as vectors. Like a mosquito is a vector, children. Hence, these are called the communicable diseases that can be communicated. That means that can be transmitted, that can be passed from a diseased person to a healthy person. Now we begin with the communicable diseases caused by the different microorganisms. First are bacteria. Now bacteria can spread diseases such as cholera, diarrhea, tuberculosis, typhoid, diphtheria, tetanus, and many more. So these are few names of the diseases that can be spread by means of bacteria. Similarly, we have the names of the other diseases that are spread through viruses, protozoans, helminthes, and fungi. Now, these are certain names, children, that spread through these various causative organisms. Now, the first we start with, that is the bacteria. Now, have a look at the picture of bacteria, children. This is how a bacteria looks like. And this is a different kind of bacteria. The shapes are different. So these are different kinds of bacteria. Bacteria, and the singular of bacteria is known as bacterium. They are one-celled organism. Now this complete thing that you can see, children, it is made up of just one single cell. So you can also call them as unicellular because they are only one cell. They are the smallest and the most widespread of all the living things. That means they are mostly found everywhere. They are widely spread in our environment and they cause various kind of diseases. Not that they are only harmful to us, but they also have a lot of uses also for us. So let's see what are the different diseases that are caused by these bacteria. Okay, so the first disease that we see is, children, cholera. It is an acute infectious waterborne disease. That means it will spread by means of dirty water. It is caused by a bacterium Vibrio cholerae. Now you don't need to learn this complete name, children. You can just learn V. cholerae. Okay. It is transmitted by flies. That means the house fly. Contaminated water and food. If we have eaten the dirty food that has been prepared by, say, contaminated water, or you have come across drinking contaminated water, then cholera can be caused. It spreads rapidly when sanitation conditions are poor. Where the sanitation conditions are poor, things are not very clean, environment is not very clean, then cholera can spread rapidly. Next disease is, children, typhoid. Typhoid is our country's most common communicable disease that is caused by the bacteria Salmonella typhi. Again, you don't need to learn such a big name. For convenience, you can just learn, because you are in class 6, you can just learn S. typhi. It is commonly found in the intestine of man. Now this bacteria, children, that is Salmonella typhi, if it enters in our body, it will go and it will take shelter in our intestine. It spreads through the human infection it is the direct infection, and the bacteria spreads through the fecal matter by the house flies. Now at times it happens, children, that the food that we have eaten, maybe some house flies were found sitting on that food. So when the house flies sit on that food, they do all the dirty thing on the food only. And somehow we have eaten that food, or we have drunk the same water where the house flies have dirtied the water. So easily we can have typhoid in our body.
I hope, children, after seeing the entire video and after listening to me very carefully, you have understood each and everything that I have tried to explain you. Now, if you have really understood the lesson well, don't forget to please subscribe, like, and do share my videos with many of your friends so that they also are being helped by me, that is Mrs. D. Nandan. So, thank you and have a wonderful day ahead. Bye-bye.